Hello, good morning, everyone. So we are now come back with another session that is CI/CD with AWS that will be provided by Sandip Das. So let me just add him, then we will start quickly with the introduction and all. So hi Sandeep, how
Hey
are you?
everyone, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm too good.
Awesome.
Yeah, so let's we quickly start. So as you all might know Sandeep, but still let me just quickly introduce him. So Sandeep Das works as a senior cloud solution architect and DevOps engineer for multiple tech product companies, startup, and he is having AWS DevOps Engineer Professional Certification also. Also a title of AWS Container Hero. That's LS of in India right now. So he's one of them. He's always in mean on learning mode, enjoying sharing knowledge with others, and currently holds 6 AWS certifications. Sandeep finds blogging a great way to share knowledge. He writes articles on LinkedIn about cloud DevOps, programming, and more. He also creates video tutorial on his YouTube channel. So I will mostly share the YouTube channel of him because you can just go through. There are some awesome videos are there, and obviously you should follow him on LinkedIn because if you are a DevOps kind of tech enthusiast, then you will find him so insightful over there. So yeah, so let's start with the session, and the stage is all of you, Sandeep. You can just go
Thank you.
ahead.
Thank you for the awesome intro, by the way, Aditya. And yeah, so
Yeah.
let's get started. Okay. Uh, so today's session about AWS with EC, CI/CD with AWS, and we'll be showing as a target. We'll be using AWS ECS. So I will cover all the topics like what is code pipeline, what is code commit, what is code build, and ECS also. So let's get started. So very first thing is that what exactly is DevOps? I mean, we are talking about all the buzzwords like DevOps, this and that. So let's understand what exactly is a DevOps. So DevOps is the combination of cultural philosophies, practices, tools that increases an organization's ability to deliver application and services at high velocity. What that means? That simply means that whatever application a company developing, that should be delivered faster in a like doesn't matter how many processes, how much automation, whatever it is required to do and deliver the application faster. That means application features, bug fixes, maybe getting the feedbacks, all that faster. Okay, and organizations using traditional software development. It applies for either the traditional application or even modern application are all coming with bundle with the DevOps solution integrated. Okay, and this bit enables organization to better serve their customers, of course, and compete more efficiently in the market because in a market where all the companies evolving using cutting edge technologies, if one company is using old technologies and like they don't have the things in place to make the application deployment faster, getting like detecting the bugs faster and fixing it faster, that company will eventually go down. So it's a need of the time that a company should adopt, and it's already happening in a massive scale that every company now have one DevOps engineer. Previously 6 7 years back also, even if you go and ask like some companies in some CEOs ask what the heck is a DevOps engineer, now they're asking for please join my company as a DevOps engineer. So that's a paradigm shift happened from that time to this. This of course is in huge demand. Now, while talking about DevOps, like you understood that what is the ultimately, if in a single line, if you have to explain DevOps is, DevOps is vast, of course. If you ask 10%, you might get 10 different definition of what exactly is DevOps. But ultimately, in a nutshell, DevOps is anything that is required to deliver application faster, improving, and by that means even improving collaboration between devs team and operation team, having say better automations in place so that it can be faster and help in detecting bugs and all that. So whatever required to make application features release faster, whatever is required, that comes in the DevOps. Okay, and now exactly if we talk about DevOps with AWS, we have to think what is exactly DevOps with AWS. So DevOps with AWS simply means that achieving DevOps goals using the tools and services that is provided by AWS. What that means? So each cloud actually have their own tools and services. Okay, be it Azure, be it GCP, of course AWS. So the moment I'm saying that, or anyone saying it's DevOps with AWS, that means that whatever tools and services that AWS provided for us to achieve the DevOps goal using those services. For here, we have code pipeline, code commit, code build, code deploy, ECS, serverless. Even we have Lambda also. So all like, there is microservice approach. So a lot of approach also will not go that deep into a decision. Otherwise, the decision will be just about that. We will be focusing more on the demo part. But just to have a very basic level knowledge, Code commit is the, yeah, of course there will be a live demonstration, otherwise, and I know many will not be able to grasp all the concepts and everything. That just to understand, first step is to actually store a source code, and the source code is stored in the AWS code commit. Second step is actually build the application. I mean, getting the binary out of the application or getting the runnable code out of the source code, that we do in the code build, and use code deploy for the deployment. Now target can be anything, could be EC2 instances, could be ECS, could be any other services. AWS have it like all most of the service integrated. I will show while showing the demo. I will show anyway. Okay. Now, again, before going deep dive, you should understand what exactly the tools are. Now, I intentionally missed the code pipeline because if we don't understand that very carefully, you will still have doubts. So understand very carefully what exactly is a code pipeline. Now, AWS Code Pipeline is a fully managed continuous delivery service that helps you automate your release pipelines for fast and reliable application and infrastructure updates. Now, what the heck that means? That simply means that you might have your like source code, you have your build environment, but you need to flow that right from the source code. The code should go to the code deploy, code build. After the code build is done, building the application, it should deploy to the servers. So you have to map, like you have to create a workflow for that. That workflow, how it should react, like the code should get deployed to staging server or production server, and there should be any manual approval needed or not. So all those things, all those concerns getting solved by the AWS code pipeline. It's a workflow automation tool, you can say, which handles your workflow. So you can say first the code will it can come from code commit, it can come from say GitHub, it can come from the Bitbucket, could be absolutely from anywhere. Okay, code pipeline has integration to all of them, and after that, the code is ready, it will generate the artifact out of that code. Because you can see the abstract of the code, and then that code will get supplied to the code build, and then there the build will actually happen. After that, it will be runnable code. Of course, it's a tested and runnable code in the code build itself. You should have your test cases. I'll be coming there anyway, and then after that, code is ready to deploy. Then you have to you have to in the script also, like the code pipeline, you can mention where that script should get deployed, and there should be any manual approval or it should be automatically deployed. All that you can define by the code pipeline. Now let's talk about the features as a the overview. It helps in workflow modeling. A pipeline defines your release process workflow, just like I described, and it describes how a new code change process through the your workflow process. Now, is like anytime you're making any code change, okay, code pipeline will detect there is a code change. Okay, by there is the CloudWatch and other tools available which they use to do that, and after that it will simply process that, like get fetch from the code commit as a source code repository or GitHub if you have integrated GitHub, whatever it is your source code are, if it's supported by code pipeline, and then you will start the build process and deployment process. Okay, it has integration in all other AWS services. The reason, like there are of course there are other tools like Jenkins and other tools, right? Then why one should go for a code pipeline, right? You might like not just you or some other people, many have the same kind of query. It could be simply because AWS code pipeline has very tight integration with other AWS services. Like other places, you have to integrate the keys, like say the secret key, the key ID, or maybe some other very complicated process. Okay, those pain actually taken away by the code pipeline. You can just simply define the pipeline and just add a needed role in the code pipeline, and it will handle the rest of the things. Okay. Now, pre-built plugins, of course, like you are integrating with code, say GitHub, Bitbucket, even CodeCommit or other tools. You can you have integration with the say S3 directly. So all those pre-built features are available for your use. So you have the pre-built plugins. Access control. Now this is a really great one, because sometimes if you host application in Jenkins or other self-hosted servers, there are always some the concern about security and other problem. But the moment it's kind of see another additional part is that it's serverless, because you are not running any server to host code pipeline. It's a service that is offered by AWS. You can utilize it, you can run it. If it's not running, even if it's running, it's very low cost. I think $1 per pipeline. I mean one pipeline is anywhere free, and additional pipelines charge only $1. Okay, so very cheap, and you can have as many code pipelines you want. Of course, there is a soft limit. You can ask AWS to remove, and they will remove it. So yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, have a huge cost saving. You can you have fully access control. I mean, it's controlled by the IAM. So whoever should have the access, you can just give them the IAM access. Whoever should not have the access, should simply not give them IAM access, and it's access control by that way. And of course, suppose one build getting failed or a build any passing, you want to get notification, that also natively integrated with AWS Code Pipeline using the SNS notifications. Okay. Now let's move to the next tool. And of course, as you might have guessed, it's about the AWS CodeCommit. Now, what is CodeCommit? Let's go with the definition first, then I will explain in simple language. So AWS CodeCommit is a fully managed source control service that makes it easy for companies to host secure and highly scalable private Git repositories. Point that, like, note that point, private Git repositories. You can use CodeCommit to securely store anything from source code to binaries, and it works seamlessly with your existing Git tools. Now, you heard the definition. I think most of you already got a very gist idea of what exactly CodeCommit is. Now, if you want to me to more simplify it, is simply your GitHub or Bitbucket repo. Like, you create a repo and simply use, like, as a Git storage you use, right? I think it's most of the cases now free. For larger team, you have to pay. Now, only thing is that still your code is not with you, but with those companies, right? In AWS, you have different philosophies. Okay, that it's your account, your VPC, very isolated, but that code where they store, you don't know, right? That here, the code you store is protected under your VPC and your private storage. This is much more secure, of course, and here you have full control over your code. There also you have, but sometime, if they suppose they make a rule change any day, it will be hugely affected. But here they can't do, because it's your own account, own repo and everything. So kind of you have more control over the normal repositories. But yes, cost can be higher in some scenarios. If it's a very big repo, you are having larger team, you have to check that part in the cost page. Okay. Now, the main part here is that I will say it's an ownership you get in this kind of managed Git private repos. You have more control. Suppose any problem happen in their particular in the say another public Git repo cloud. I will not say any name, otherwise it will be bad. Then your code is exposed to the public world, right? That here is a bit different. We have in AWS, it's known for their own security. It's very highly protected. And of course, it's protected in your Git, your IAM access. It's very hard to track this. But anyway, things can still happen. It's not 100% guaranteed. So what you should be doing, make sure that you don't store your very crucial credentials in the AWS code commit. Never in the GitHub or Bitbucket. Also, you should not store in the code commit. If you are thinking about then, like, if it's functioning exactly same like the GitHub or Bitbucket, why should you use the code commit? So that's why you have features. So it's, of course, it improves collaboration. It is designed to be collaborative software development, just like any other Git tools. It supports encryption. Of course, you can encrypt your repo. You have full access control. Now, in the GitHub or other places, what happens? You create a user profile there, and you add it and remove them. Right here, it's a more fine-grained control using access. There also you have the similar kind of control, but here you can do that via the IAM policies. So if you're in a suppose you are in the AWS, you're already utilizing AWS services, then that makes sense to more use the code commit features. Okay, you have the high availability and durability, of course, more than normal repos. Since most cases those are free, even paid, you have sometimes availability issues, but with AWS, it's very unlikely that you'll face any kind of problem. Okay. Easy access integration, of course, it's just like a normal hosted GitHub repo, like normal Git commands you use. Here also you can use the same thing. Okay, and notification and custom script. You can add any kind of notification. Suppose someone pushing the code. Suppose someone make the build out of some bucket. All those things you can get the notification, and you can of course add the custom scripts also if you need it. Okay. Okay. So next one is the AWS CodeBuild. Now, what exactly is the AWS CodeBuild? I mean, I was talking in the beginning, but if you don't have a proper idea exactly what is the CodeBuild, then it will be a failure, to be honest. You know why? First, think about, I will go to definition, but just think about that. Why exactly is a CodeBuild is there even? Why does it even exist? The thing is that you have Jenkins build system, you have a lot of other build system, right? Then why is CodeBuild? First of things, it's a serverless solution. Yes. So serverless in the sense you're not managing any cluster, you're not managing anything. You have to pay for the build per hour or per minute. Because suppose you want to run for 1 hour, you only charge for only 1 hour. that if you're in a Jenkins, like if you're using a Jenkins or such kind of system, you have to run it for continuously. Otherwise, it may be a problem. Yes, see, there are solutions like you can run your, say, your own, say, in a master, in an instance, you run your master node and other worker nodes you can automate. The thing is that that takes a lot more time to automatically start up. There's an initial delay, and not just that, still you are ultimately running one instant continuously, right? That cost also you can save if you run in the code build. Now let's come to the definition again. So AWS CodeBuild is a fully managed build service that compiles source code. So you have your, in a code, say in your code commit or GitHub or whatever it is, you have a source code. So that code actually get compiled, or maybe all your build modules get installed, and then you have the final runnable application, or maybe you can run test this. So all those you can do in the your code build. Now let's go definition. So it compiles the source code, run the test, produces software packages that are ready to deploy. Point that this is a very important point. It makes or produces software that or software packages that is ready to deploy. So ultimate goal of the code build to make output or artifact. We call it artifact when it is you're like one process to another. Say code commit is going to code, say this code build, or from code build going to the code deploy. You are sending one zip package or some kind of package. Okay, we call that artifact. So that artifact generation is actually the job of the code build. Okay, so which is ultimately a runnable code. That's what it's saying. So with code build, you don't need to provision. Important point. You don't need to provision. You don't need to manage and scale your own build server. So if you're running 10 builds or running 10,000 builds, you can scale up to that. It's of course more than even that. If you're an enterprise customer, then you can utilize the code build. Okay, so it's huge opportunity. Now code build scales continuously and process multiple builds concurrently. So you have the since the concurrent builds also you can generate. So your builds are not left without income. What happened in the normal Jenkins and all, sometimes builds get like waited and waited. A build running very long queue, but you have limited resources. It takes a lot of time. Those pain can go away with code build. Now let's come to the features. So features wise, continuous integration. This have a continuous integration delivery workflow. Let's work very seamlessly with the code pipeline. You have security and permissions. Again, just like all other tools, this tool also actually very tight integration with IAM and all other, say, encryption and everything. So it's very secure. Now advanced monitoring, you can monitor all the logs and whatever happening, all the states and everything. I'll show you anyway. If you receive notification, suppose a build get fail anything, you get notification. Bring your own build environment Docker. So suppose there is standard image available with AWS, but that images actually that don't have the things you need, or maybe it required a lot of other things to do. So what you can do, you can build your own image, whatever binary is required, or whatever software required, put that in a Docker image and run the Docker image here. So you can do that. Okay. Now I'm going a bit fast because I have to cover the demo part, right? So yeah, here you have AWS ECS. So this is our deployment target. Normally, people, what you do, suppose it's not ECS, then maybe it's EC2, then you use the code deploy. Code deploy is actually just used for deployment, and in case of event of failure, any issues, it help you roll back. Now, why I'm using ECS here? Because see, EC2 managing is a very big concern, and sometimes what happens, patching it, upgrading is a lot of hassle. Okay, so we can avoid all that if we can use the ECS. It's a managed solution. Let's go to the definition first. So AWS ECS is a fully managed container orchestration. Point that part. It's a container orchestration that helps you easily build, manage, and scale containerized application, and it deeply integrates with your rest of your AWS platform. I mean, AWS platform to provide a secure and easy to use solution running container workloads in the cloud, and now on your own infrastructure using ECS anywhere. So previously it was only AWS Cloud, but now you can just have your offline, or you can say your like Raspberry Pi kind of thing. So this kind of device, I will just show you guys. I have even one session on my YouTube channel also. There you can just simply run this one. Okay, so in this you can run that. Okay, now let me quickly check. I think it's okay. Okay, so you can utilize there. Now I will just simply go to, okay, so it also help in management of task definition. It give you scheduling and task placement, complex networking, monitoring and login, and hybrid deployments. Okay, I think, give me a I think some technical issue is there. Just a moment. Okay, sorry guys for the interruption. I'll come back. Okay, so the next one. Okay, now is the demo time. I mean, I think most of people are waiting for only this, right? So let's go to demo. First, I will actually describe the code because ultimately you're going to run codes, right? So let me just explain a code. I have a very simple application. I hope you guys can see the screen. Hopefully, yes. So I'll just simply show the code. So here you see we have a simple node application. If you're not sure about the node application, don't worry. Any code you can run. Ultimately, it's going to be containerized and you can run anything. Now, see this code. We have the Express. Let me show the package first. If you are into the Node.js, so packages, and I'm simply using say Express and like only using Express here. We have installing this, but not required. Simply Express, and there you're running an application. Very simple looking application, not much code. We are defining Express. Then we're creating the Express application, and then you are giving either any port or port 3000 by default, and then you're running an application. You can simply you need Node.js. I will suggest at least this time at least 14 version and up things. Okay, you can simply run it. Just a moment, index, and it should be running. So it's a runnable application. Now make sure that code is all updated. Yes, code is updated with the master. Now let me show you the extra few things very quickly. This is a Docker file, so we should be utilizing to make the Docker image out of it. Simply, we are using Node version 14. You can use 16 also fine. Then we have the work directory we are setting as user src app. Again, this is custom environment. You can set anything. You are first copying the packages so that we will install the packages. Then you are, running npm install to install the packages. After the packages install, because why we're doing here. Because you every time code change happen the packages can be very things could be very rare, but if you put this one up after this copy, then every time you make even simple one space change, then also your entire package everything will get installed, right? It will be a lot of time consuming. So better to just first copy the packages, then install it, and then copy your code. Okay, and you're exposing port 3000 to listen on this particular application, and you're running the application by node index.js, just like I run in my local. Okay, so that's the application structure. One addition thing you need to run in the code build, you need a build file called build spec. And what you're doing in the build spec, very simple also. First, we are utilizing, there are stages, okay, phases. First is pre-build phase, then is the build phase, then is post-build phase, and the final artifact that we are passing. Okay. So here in the pre-build phase, again, you don't have to be very master on this. You can go to my channel. I have very detailed description of all that. So here you're first doing the login in the pre-build stage, because if the login failed, everything gonna fail. So that's why first thing in the pre-build phase you're doing the logging. So you can see AWS, we are using the AWS command line tool, AWS ECR, get login password and login in the system. Then you are setting the repository URL there. And then in the build phase, you are simply running, you can see we are running the build, the Docker build, and the image name and tag name. And of course, this point to current working directory where you have the Docker file. And then you're like after the build is completed, we are simply tagging the image with the remote repository that you're going to create in few minutes. And then in the post build, we are pushing that image to the, you can see the ECR. The ECR where you store our Docker images. And you're creating a definition file, so image definition.json. We're creating that. You can see here, printf, print, and we are saving all this data in a file, and we're passing that to ECS for the deployment. That's all we're doing. These are the main files: the builds, the Docker file, the build spec file, and finally your packages. And we have your packages and your ultimate final code. So this is the application architecture. Very simple enough. Okay. Now that will simply, I know some has the looking problem, but it's fine. We will have your, all the source code I will share after the session. Like Aditya will share, not a problem. Okay. Now let's come to the demo. So I hope you guys can see the screen. So first thing is the code commit. Let's go to code commit. So this is the tool where we store our codes. Now I already have this repo. I already created code deploy demo, and this is actually just updated a few hours back. Now to create a new repo, you just have to click create the repository, just enter the details, and you can create the repo. Now to create the access for it, you can go to just let's go back, open another tab. Here, go to IAM. Let's say creating any sample user. Suppose you're creating for yourself also, that's fine. There you click on your user, say code commit your username, okay, whatever username you are, sample user, and then give them the access key. And suppose you want the login also for the particular user, attach existing permissions, you can give them the code commit. Now for this demo part, I'm giving say code commit full access, but you can fine grain it. You can create your own policy and just add for one particular repo. Okay. After that, next review, create user, but that will not create a you can say a code commit access. What you do, just copy the code commit user, again go to the IAM. There is two way to get the access for the user. I'll quickly show that. So if you come in the user screen and there is a security credential, see there's an option called SSH key. So you can just simply copy your public SSH key and upload it. And if you want to like how to generate and do, you can click on the learn more to do it. Another one is create a you can see HTTPS credential for AWS CloudCommit. You can click on generate credential and it will create that for you. Okay, you can do that. So there's the two ways you can add the code commit access. Now I will not spend much time in the code commit because I think we have 30 minutes, right? So I'll quickly go to code commit to show you the code, how it looks like in the code commit. See, this is the repo, and it has the main two files you should check for is actually the Docker file, your actual code that is going to run, and the build spec file, because this is the file that will be used by the code build to make the build out of the code. Or you can say here, our case, it will generate Docker image and save in the ECR. So next thing you need is the ECR. So let's go and click on the search for the ECR. It's Elastic and the registry. Let's give it few seconds. Okay, a lot of ECR, but I will create a new one to show you how it's done. You have two options, private or public. Public is I think free, but private you have to some cost for 1 GB or more. There is a cost. You can go to the ECR price page and you can check it. So we call it AWS CI/CD demo. Okay. Now let's copy, and I have a note here. So what I do, is a very good practice. I create a note for everything, make it it's a commented one. So you can say ecr.txt, and I store the references for my own references. You can store anywhere, of course. You can tag immutability if you want. You can scan the images for every time it pushed, or you can even enable the encryption for the KMS encryption for a particular image. Now, I'm not going to do all that. I'm just go with the simple setup and click on create repo, and it will simply AWS CSC demo. This is our repo. This is our URL. So just I'll copy the URL also. It will be useful when you're pasting and all. Okay, so we have created our ECR repo where we're going to store our image, and we can run our application from there itself. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do, let's first build the image. I will show you how to push the image there. Okay. So that, okay, there is no images. What additionally we can do, that is a funny way. So you can see Mac Linux, we'll just run this command to first login. Let's do a login quickly. It takes few seconds. Okay, login succeeded. I hope, okay, I think you're gonna be able to see it. So I just copied that code from there. Let me quickly change one quick setting. I'll be switching a lot, so kind of application. So yeah, I go here and I copy the code, this particular code, and I'll come. It came to here, and simply paste the code to login succeeded. Again, I will go back to the screen where I'll see this is the build command, a Docker needed. So let's run the Docker. It will run the Docker. and it's gonna take few seconds. So just wait for a few seconds. While okay, I see it's getting started up. It started. So you can see the Docker is started. So now we can run our build, and we'll simply run our build there. Okay. So I hope you guys can see it. Let's run this build command. The AWS CI/CD demo, and we are running the build. It will take only a few seconds. That's fine. New build system actually is very faster than the previous Docker build systems. Okay, while this is happening, what we can do, we can just go ahead and create our ECR, yeah, our ECS repo. Sorry, not repo, ECS cluster. So let's go to the CodeCommit and search for the ECR. Sorry, this is Elastic Container Service. So this is where we're going to run our application. I have already created one cluster. So again, just for your, I have created one cluster. I will show you quickly how the cluster get created. So if you go to click on create cluster, you have the option network only, EC2 Linux, EC2 networking. Click on EC2 Linux for networking. So you'll be utilizing the EC2 instances. Click on next step. There you give say demo AWS CI/CD. Again, I have created it just for that say time I have already created. I was using that, but I want to show you how it is created. There you have your on-demand instances. Select. You can start with smaller instances. I prefer to go with T3. Say T3 small, or if it's a big application, large. Okay. Say I say the large. I always go with the 2 nodes because that way we make sure that it's always have the enough resources. Again, for development, you can go with even one instance. Okay. So that's fine. Go down. Always go with the new VPC. But if you have the requirement to run ECS cluster in particular one VPC, you can just select the VPC list from there. Okay. And then security group, inbound rules, whatever rules you want to add, you can go and go down. If you want to enable like for each container how much CPU and other usages are, you can enable this one and you can click on create. And that will actually create these things for you and it will look like this. Okay. It will print out all the details just like it. So again, I already, just to save time, I already created the cluster and I'll be using this AWS CI/CD demo cluster for our thing. Okay, so our application's build is completed. Now we'll simply go to ECR and copy the next command. You can see you're tagging the image. So whatever we did now, we'll be doing all that by this particular this code builds file. Okay, so the build spec file. But again, let's first run the application. Let's just push the code to the ECR, or you can say let's push the image to the ECR. See, it will take some time. Internet is faster, 1 GPS. Hopefully, it will be quick. So let's see. But anyway, when this happens, let me quickly go to the ECS and let's create a task definition. We have a lot of task definition. I'll just remove it. I don't think I can remove directly. So it will be hassle for now. So I will just simply create AWS. Okay. While let me go back and see the screen. I hope you guys can see the screen. Okay. So if you have to click on this create new task definition, click on that. Then you have the option Fargate EC2 external. For our use case, it's not Fargate and not external. So we'll go with the EC2 because it's normal EC2 instance I started with. Okay. And there's a task definition name. So we'll call it AWS CI/CD with AWS. Okay. And it's a unique role. We don't have the role, it will automatically create it. So don't worry. Network mode, I want in the breach mode, which is the default one anyway. Now, and see, for Linux is breach, for Windows is NAT. Always remember that. Execution role, again, if you don't have it, will create automatically. Don't worry. Task memory, how much task memory you want to, like you can say the maximum size or fixed size. Okay, you can go with it, or you can even leave it blank. In the container definition, it's better to actually go with it, but it's fine. Now, one thing before even creating all the resources here, what you should have done, go to the ECR. Sorry, ECS. I will always confuse with this term, even now, working for all these years. Now, there you go to the ECS instance and see how much resources you already have. So you have around 8,000 CPU units, which is 8 CPUs, and you have 14 or say 15 GB or even 15 GB memory available. So you have to allocate that. Now to do that, Go down. For this particular container, I will say one container should have maximum of, say, first give it a name. We can call it CI CD demo container. And again, I always keep a note of what I'm doing in the notes. So just saving it here. Going down, see this asking for an image URL. So we're just waiting, and see image is also pushed. So we can go to ECR, and yeah, all done. So you just click on the refresh, and it will give us the image. You can see copy image URI, copy that image URI here, and paste here. That's why you first at the initial build you should have done with your own hand so that you can create the task definition. That's the reason. Okay. Now we have the memory limit, hard limit, soft limit. You can give a soft limit of, say, for example, it's still required mode. So I will go with the 500, and the port mapping is very important part. I want to make it a dynamic port mapping. So for that reason, I will give 0. If you want a particular port mapping, you can give that, say, 3000 or whatever port you are running. But for me, I want to run multiple containers, single node or single instance. That's the reason I will give dynamic port mapping 0. A container, let's come back here and see what is the in Docker file, what you are giving as a, what port you're exposing. You're exposing port 3000. So here 3000 and go down. You don't have to think of this. This is a health checks. If you want health check related things, you can add it here. CPU unit, I want 1024. Okay. So one CPU actually is fine. Even we can go with half of CPU. So it's basically half 500 GB, 500 MB memory, and because simple application, right? It should not take much more than that. And CPU unit is 500. We can run actually multiple no for multiple container like that way. So done. GPU we don't need, and all is fine. Environment files you're not supplying. Only thing you should add here is the monitoring part. See, so log configuration. You have it will automatically configure. Not to worry. Click on add. All done. Container, all the definition I've given. So it's fine. Just so let's keep a note of this one. CI/CD AWS. Let's go to the note section. Just save it, and that container part also should save it. So this is the TD task definition, and this is the container. Okay, so we are done with creating the task definition. We'll simply go down and click on create, and it's created for us. Okay, now we have our image ready in the ECR. We have our task definition ready. We will create a service, and we will simply do that. Okay, so service. Let's go to the cluster services. Click on create. EC2 for service. We go with the CI/CD with AWS. Service name, say, CI/CD with AWS. We want to run with one task. Okay, rolling update is fine. We'll go with the bin pack so that it will be on memory basis. Create task. Application load balancer we want to create. We don't have any, so we'll go to EC2 console and quickly create a ECS. A load balancer. So we'll go with the application load balancer. Let's create it. Say let's name it CI/CD. I'll say AWS CI/CD demo. Okay. Internet facing IPv4. VPC, you have to be very curious on that. Its VPC ID is, see, VPC ID should be, yeah, VPC ID is last 4 is 631B. So 631B. Let's go with 631B. Yeah, this one 631B. So if you do that mistake, you will be having problem in creating the like attaching all these things. 631B, 631B. Fine. So select the subnets. Security group. Let's go with the default one. Will be later on, or maybe you can just create a security now also. But that's a problem. Fine. Let's call it CI/CD demo. Routing. Let's make sure that you add. We'll add the later on. CI/CD demo, description demo, and allow all traffic. outbound rules. For the inbound rules, make sure it's going to be a simple 80. We'll access the port at port 80, and so it's going to be in your IPv4, and that's fine. Okay, so just copy the CI/CD demo and create security group. Done. We have created it. Let's do refresh, and it should be available. Yes. C2 container. I think, do you select the wrong one? It's also fine. We can even attach this one also. But it should have come 631B. Let's see what happened. Oh, why didn't get created? Oh, we selected the wrong VPC. Demo LB. Let's add it again. That's why I say it's very curious. Very, you have to be 631B. That didn't came. 631B. 631B. So here, copy the name, add the inbound rule, accept port 80 from anywhere, and then create the security group. Now it should come. Let's refresh and see it came. Listener part. Let's you what happened is that actually you don't actually need at the moment, but you have to create a target to get started. So you can call it instances. Choose a deploy. Choose the target. Lambda function. Target group name. Say demo. For LB, protocol port 80, HTTP1, the status is fine, all looks good. Let's go. For now, don't select any instances, simply create a target group. That's it, this is the name. Copy and refresh. It should come here and all good. So you're done with the creating the load balancer. And let me quickly, okay, we don't need any option, create the load balancer. VPC part is very important here, because if you miss there, it will be a problem. So ultimately, this is our load balancer name. Let's copy it. LB. Or additionally, we have to do this load balancer of a security group we created, right? So security group, say this one had a security group, because if you miss that step, you will see a problem. So let's go here. And we have the ECE instances. Let's have that security, this security group. So copy this security group ID. We need that to be allowed any traffic from this particular. So this security group ID should be copied. So any port that traffic come, we should allow that. So manage inbound rules in the security group of the ECS cluster. Okay, we say any or all TCP. Okay, custom paste the security group. See, this is the load balancer security group ID. Otherwise, the dynamic port mapping will not work. Always remember that. It's done. So we are done with our this creation, this load balancer, and attaching with our ECS security group. Now we can run our application. Add the load balancer. Yes, we can go with our normal one. It's all good. Path pattern, evaluation order should be 1. We are creating new, all good. Okay, health check part should be default, this normal one. And we have actually, we're going to, if we look at the code, we have actually one particular status check. We can give this one. Okay. Status check. Okay, all good. Next step. Now, do you want to have, say, or internal load balancer? I mean, not say auto scaling. For example, if there is too much load, you can increase the number of the tasks. So we can do that. So minimum should be 1, maximum should be, say, 4, for example, good. Desired should be 1, maximum should be 4 or 5, as you wish, or as per your resource allow you to do it. Policy, let's create a, this is the automatic, when should the scale should happen. So a high CPU, so high CPU, when the average should go above say 50, or say 50 is very low these days, 80, you can go. We don't want to scale in, it's fine, and all that. So we have configured our service. Let's create a service. It will take few seconds, then the service will get created. We have low time remaining, so I will simply jump onto the pipeline part, because that is more important, right? It's the CI/CD AWS. So this is our cluster creation. We're all done. You have created it. All that's good. What you do next is the AWS code pipeline. So let's go to code pipeline. So in this particular phase, we'll create three things: code pipeline, and then see, these are the stage. So choose a pipeline. So pipeline should be CI, say CI/CD with AWS. Okay, there it's saying new service role existing. Just go with the new role. Advanced settings, you will see artifact store, default location, default AWS managed key is fine. Let's go with that. Next, service provider, it will be code commit. And code commit, what is the repo name? Repo name is code deploy demo. Branch name, you can select the branch name. I hope you guys can see it, just to confirm. Yes, you guys can see it. And in the branch name, it's master. And you can see the change detection option. It could be, like, you can do using code pipeline, that's pool basis, but it's better to go with the AWS CloudWatch. That will be faster. Okay. Okay, then yes, go with the an output artifact format is code pipeline default format. It's good. Let's go to the next. Then is the build provider, and this is an important one. This is where you are going to select code build, but it has a very good integration with Jenkins also. If you have a Jenkins cluster, you can simply utilize that also. For our case, we'll go with the code build anyway. And there's a project name you can see is asking for. So you'll get a code build project also very quickly. So click on code build project. It will open the screen. Project name CI, AWS. It can be any name. I'm just make it faster with AWS CI/CD name. CI/CD code build. Okay, done, and looking good. Additional configuration. One thing you have to do, I will just quickly make the screen bigger. I hope you can see the screen. Okay, you can see. Make the screen a bit bigger. So you can restrict it, but we don't want to restrict it at the moment. Manage, yeah, operating system. We'll go with the Ubuntu, and you can see runtime standard. Image should be always go for the latest one. Okay, that's the good practice. You must and you should enable the privilege mode. Otherwise, you cannot build the Docker images. Okay. Now, suppose you want to bring your own image. So in this part, you can see the custom image option. Specify Docker image. You can provide your own custom image from the ECR repo. Okay. Now, must enable the privilege part. Otherwise, you cannot make the builds. Role name. If you have any role particularly created for this build, you can give it. Otherwise, just leave it blank. Additional this role name, it will be automatically created. You have the additional configurations. Timeout should be 1 hour. Query timeout, say it's multiple builds in progress. You want to query out, you have 8 hours. Now, if you want to have like any only your internal build system, then only give VPC. Otherwise, you don't have to compute. Go with the minimum. If you're not running GCP specific, you can say very high resource consumption. There you go for the bigger one. Otherwise, normal cases, simple one is fine. Environment variables will not give here. We'll go give in a separate place. I'll show you. Build spec, we have the build spec file name, that is buildspec.yml. So you don't have to give any custom name. Batch conversion, you don't have to provide anything. Everything is fine. You don't have to make any other changes. Main change is only this choosing the image, latest one. For the you can go with the AWS also, AWS that image, or I find it better to go with the Ubuntu system. Privilege mode, and that's all you have to do. Continue to code pipeline, and see it will automatically select that there. Just give it a few minutes. Not minutes, a few seconds to be honest. Yeah, see, it's automatically created and attached. Here you want to give the environment variable. So what are the variables, environment variable we need? Let's go to our build spec system. So there we are actually need the AWS default region. So let's give it one by one. Default region is US OS2. Let's copy from here. Value. What additional you need? You need the account ID. So let's give it here. Account ID. I can just go here, and this is the. Sorry, this is the account ID. I'll just copy from here. That's easier. Account ID. Next is the region is given. ECS image repo name. So copy here, and image repo name probably also have taken the notes. So this is the image repo name. This is the reason is very good to have keep note of all that. What is the next? Let's go to the build spec file. Then we need is the image tag. It's the latest. Always with the latest. And the final variable should be repository URI is there. Container name. This is important. Now, if you remember, the container name also keep in the note. CI/CD demo container. Let's copy that. So we have given all the variables also, all looking good. And let's see. Okay, we're all good here. Now, single build, like build type, batch build. For our use case, we will go with the simple build system. Okay. Now, let's quickly get the next. Okay, this is the final step where you have to like where you want to deploy it. So you have to give ECS and see. Don't go for the blue green. It's more complicated one. Maybe in some future session we can cover. But for our use case now, we're going to simply deploy to ECS. And she's asking for cluster name. We have this AWS CI/CD demo, and then automatically ask for the service name. That's why you have to first create the cluster and the service, then you have to come in the AWS code like pipeline configuration. Otherwise, it will not work, right? So that's the reason I had to do that before doing this. Image definition, if the file name is actually this file name, so let's go to the build spec. This image definition of JSON, then only you have to don't have to give anything. If suppose some different file name, then you have to come here and give the different file name here. So we're not giving anything here. Next, and you are all good. Simply create code pipeline. And next time onward, suppose I make any changes. So let's create it first. So what will happen next? So this is if you go to the EC2, let's go to the EC2. Let's take, sorry, I have to go to EC2. Load balancers. This is our load balancer. Now, I did very quickly. I may have, maybe I missed some step. Okay, maybe I really missed some steps. I will see. But here, what happened that we made the code changes. Let's go. So anytime, let's go to the pipeline first. See, the code is the default first time pipeline. So it's first time checking all the codes and simply pushing it. But what happened next time? Suppose this is done. This first time maybe fail. So we have to see that why it's failing. Let's go to the ECS use service. And suppose anytime is failing, because I did it very quickly, I can go to the task and check what is the stop task and getting stop for a reason. So let's see what is the reason. So group name CI/CD. Okay. So we can actually click on the logs also. If anything. Okay. exe format error. exe uses process. Okay. Some problem is there. I don't know. I have to check later on. exe user process cost error. Okay, we'll come to that. For let's focus on the pipeline because that's the most. So the pipeline will first go to the source step, then go to the build, and then you go to the deploy. Now failure will happen. Let's quickly check the logs once. Standard Linux Go. Execution format error. Okay, we'll see. Let the image first process faster. Okay, code will failing because it will have some access related issue. Let me show you the fix that issue. Then I will come to that. Don't have much time, but yes, still. Build details, service role. There you have to go and give mainly two access. First is that add permission, attach policies, give it S3. So you go the full access, and you have to give the ECR access because it doesn't have the ECR. So ECR. I have to use proper registry. See, elastic easy to container registry full access. Let's give it and attach policies. Then suppose next time we made any changes here, say status. Mm, so ECS. So for example, in the index file, I made the change demo app version 2. Then I'm saving it. Checking. Demo, terminal, new terminal, git status. Okay. Add a git commit. Okay, say changes. Actually, that issue they are facing that happened. One case is my MacBook is a different chipset, and that generated the wrong image probably. That would happen earlier also. Fine. Next time this image actually get pushed, it should be fine. So you see, you should have started a new build. So code build. Let's go to code pipeline in progress. So this time I made changes in my local console, and this started again a code commit. Like, code pipeline automatically detect the change and will start processing this one. It's fine. Let me just wait for this process. Till while it's happening, let's see. Let's see any feedback. I mean, any comments. Okay. Sorry, let me just quickly go. I know a lot of people have a lot of question. Yeah, you need to build for MD64. That's what I missed. So this is one. Okay. Yeah, the build was on ARM. So this particular issue I faced few days back while having other demo. That's why it clicked me. Anyway, the next when the build system via the Docker, I mean the code pipeline, it should work. Then it should be not a problem. It's fine. Let's see. Code pipeline. Okay, the build process started now. So yeah, this actually problem before the MacBook. I was utilizing my own Linux instances, or even previous MacBook also. I didn't had because it's the Intel chip. I didn't had a problem, but now these days, whenever I'm making the build from my Apple new M something advanced chip, that's every time having this problem. So I just this that clicked me, and someone said all the same thing. Okay, most probably this time. Okay, now let's see the code build part. So in build, you can see the build phases. It's showing like all succeeded, build all succeeded, all good. This time all works well, and this getting pushed also. And in say you can see the build phases here and build all the build logs. You can see in the log section, it's pushed and preparing. I think all getting pushed. It will take few seconds and then it will all push. So don't worry on that. But I think it's very important to yeah, it will work fine. I mean, this is the problem. The cheap that image I run that was the wrong saying my local from the local build, so it didn't work. From there, it will work fine. So maybe I should answer all the other questions. We have a lot of questions here. Hey, Aditya, hello. Hey, you there?
Okay. Yeah. So I was on mute.
Okay, yeah. So this is fine by the pipeline. Anyway, let the pipeline done. Once it's succeed, I can show them how it succeeded and fine. But
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes. So
we
we
should
can
cover
start
some
with the
of
questions right now, like parallelly. So that will be
show
done.
showing the screen, showing the screen so I can see.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just putting one by one. Okay. I think these are okay. So this is the first question we have
Okay.
from
How to
Gaurav.
use custom Docker image with the code pipeline to create how to use custom Docker images within code pipeline to create Docker images. So I think I showed in the there also, but let me just show you again quickly. Just let me show you. I think in this tool also there is share option, right? So I can share particular tab. Okay, so code build. I hope you guys can see the code build screen. Show that share the
Yeah, yeah.
screen.
Let me
Yeah.
just show.
So in this screen, let me go back to the code build. So while creating, even after creating also you have the option, but for example, I will show you. While creating the build project, go down And see, this is the option custom build image. There in the it's a code build. Okay, in the code pipeline you just give the workflow, right? In the code build you have to actually mention you want to use a custom image. Then there, what is the image type? Say ARM, Linux, Linux GPU. Most probably it's a Linux. Then they're asking for image registry. Is it ECR or other registry? Other registry, then you have to give them the external URL and credential also, right? But if it's ECR, just give the see if it's your ECR or other ECR. If it's your ECR, you give the your ECR just repository name, and if it's other ECR, you have to give the full repository URI. Okay. For example, I want to have my own image. I go there, and then other things are like normally you can go and select by default options. This is how you bring your own image in the your in AWS CI/CD build system. Okay.
So we have another question from Gaurav itself. How to use AWS code pipeline with EKS for end-to-end CI/CD pipeline?
Okay. That
So I
video
can
I
answer this.
already
I
have.
can answer this. I can
Sorry.
answer this. Gaurav, you can just go on Sandeep's YouTube channel, and I think he has demo there
Yeah. Demo is
already.
already there. You can just go. It's
Yeah,
already there.
yeah.
Next one.
So I think we have. Okay, so next one from Divya. She's asking like CodeBuild supports source code from CodeCommit only.
No, CodeCommit support from the GitHub. I mean, there are a lot of options. Let me show you quickly. I think that will be also good. Okay, yeah. Let me show you the first thing that that application working fine now. So it was the my build system issue. I understood. You can see that. So you guys see that I pushed this part. Yeah, that working.
Yeah,
So this was actually my image issue. Every process is fine. Everything is fine. So if you're guys there using the new MacBook Pro, don't put some your local. Do it in the Linux. Or make sure the build target is fine. I forget to give the build target. So it's fine. It's working fine now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let me share again the screen, entire screen. Otherwise, it will be a problem. Oh, I cannot share entire screen. I have to share particular tab. Okay, so let's go to code pipeline again. See, the pipeline also very success. Its entire pipeline succeeded. So deployment also work fine. Now let's create a new pipeline and see this whatever gives me. I'm giving any demo name. Okay, sorry. So yeah, see source provider. You have the code commit, ECR, S3, Bitbucket, GitHub, GitHub Enterprise. You have support for these things. Okay. Okay. Next one.
so we have someone was asking regarding the code link. So whatever link you are
Oh,
using
okay.
for the,
Give me a moment. Sorry, guys.
so
Give
if
me a
anywhere you
moment.
have posted on the GitHub or something, then you
Yeah,
can
I
just do
already
that.
pushed. I already pushed. I will simply share the link.
Yeah, sure.
Give me
Okay.
1 minute. Okay. This is the GitHub link. I hope you guys can be able to get
So
it.
another question we have from Gaurav, like, can you share how to use Terraform to set up Windows code pipeline completely? That would be very helpful.
That is also there in my channel. Go there, you'll get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gaurav, you must just go over the channel. So I'm just pasting the code link over the chat, so you guys can refer. So we have the next
That,
question from
that
Jim.
code is asked, right, for the Terraform code. That is also there. So
Okay,
that
on the
repo
GitHub.
itself have all the codes. So look for it. There's a deployment for Terraform. You can just refer to that.
Okay, great. So we have next question from Jim. Like he's asking just a quick question: can we integrate our code from Bitbucket? Also, any plugin or extra configuration we have to do?
Nothing, no plugin required. Direct support was there, right? While showing the screen. Ashwin,
Yeah,
we
yeah. So
have
you have just
code
shown right now.
pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So also
So we have
currently
another
using
question
Jenkins
from Jim
over.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So also
So
we are
also
currently
we
using Jenkins over VM for CI/CD and infra over the AWS. It will helpful to move everything to code build or
of
code
course
pipeline.
you will save a lot of cost. Okay, you will save a lot of cost if you do that. Yes, the only thing you should be focusing somewhere Jenkins have a lot of plugins. Okay, and those plugins are not available. There's an open source project, people at their community support, but in the code commit, you might, I mean, in the code pipeline, you might not have that kind of solution. Some you have your own scripting or your own plugin you have to develop to do that. So Jenkins, you have the flexibility to use a lot of plugins. In code pipeline, you don't. So if your infrastructure doesn't require all these kind of plugins, simply move to code pipeline. But if you utilizing heavily these plugins, then you have to consider before moving. That is only caution.
Okay, great. So we have next question from Divya again. If the build fails, this pipeline still deploy and code deploy?
No, if the build fails, stop there. That's just like for me, like build failed and then you need able to deploy the code. I have to fix the permission, then only deploy it, right? So build has to deploy and pass that build. Otherwise, it will not deploy to the production.
Yes, if artifacts not there, then how it will deploy?
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so we can move to the next the quiz right now, because I think you have already showed the demo and the output also,
Yeah.
so that is working fine. So let me just quickly share my window. Which one is that? Yeah, so I believe you must be able to save this. Yeah,
Yeah. I think you can see the screen.
so let me just continue this. Okay, so this is the quiz link. You can all join, and I'm just pasting over the comment section also. Yeah, you can just start joining. I will- So we will wait for 5 minutes, like to everyone join there, and then we can just start.
Looks
So
like
let's
everyone
see.
joining already.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. So plus starting join. Okay.
Looks like everyone joined. Oh,
People are
joining.
coming.
Okay. Everyone join.
Let's see.
But I'm happy I'm able to complete in 1 hour.
That's
Normally
what
it
I was
takes more time.
thinking. That's what I was thinking actually. Uh, I was sure like it will extend it, but it works like in 1 hour only.
Everything work ultimately, right? It's all fine.
Yep. Experience matter actually. That's the
Yes.
reason.
The people see the live code, live implementation. That was my goal actually. So how things work, what are the problem we might face. And
Yes.
I feel the same. Okay.
I think we are having already almost everyone there. If not, then
I think it's
we will
fine.
just wait for 2 minutes only. And also
Okay.
you can just join in between also. There's option, but please remember this is the fastest finger first. So everyone knows the question answers. That doesn't matter. Whoever just answer the first, that will be most matter here. Okay. So see, someone else now joined. Okay, one more. I think two or three people will also join right now.
It's when you can start, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Let me start then. So Sandeep, this quiz is so easy. So I'm sure like everyone will just compete.
Okay.
Yeah. So I created for a beginner level, but I was not sure like some experienced people also join.
Yeah, express people also join, right? Yes.
Yeah. I created for the beginner level only.
It's fine, it's fine.
Like
Let's
some
see.
of the basic question for the DevOps, what kind of tools we used, or what's the mean definition, what is the difference, something like
The
that.
thing, the problem is that in interviews, what happen, they will not ask the basics. They will ask,
Yeah.
we have a scenario, we have a Jenkins build server, we have one, our repo is in GitHub. What is the process of implementation? What are the problem you might face? How you'll solve that? This is how they
Yeah.
approach. So this is
Yeah.
how the
Regarding the
system is
architectures
built.
and regarding the issues, actually the major issues that actually comes.
See, if is the general DevOps position is fine, question will be from all around the places. But if it's exactly AWS DevOps position, they will be very accurate. Like what are the solution, what is the connection string you'll be using, how you should do cross connections, cross account deployment. Those are things going to become. So
Yes.
we will have to prepare for that.
Yeah. That's totally. Uh,
think
Also,
Shubham
we
may
have
have more
another question
question.
from Shubham, like
Yeah.
that is
So
to
have
a
you worked
personal,
with
like
MuleSoft? I know what it is. I heard what it is. I never worked on it is. So I never go deep into it. So that's the thing. Because there is also service now, right? That also I didn't try out because I never get a job on service now or MuleSoft. If someone
okay,
offering me job, we will pay. I will think.
yeah, you must be getting lots of offers on the
Yeah, I
month
mean,
basis or
I
daily basis.
get it from most of the DevOps positions or say team lead, sometimes yes, CTO or technical directors, which I hate. You know what happens? You have a lot of people to handle. You don't have for time. Maybe when I get a bit more HP person, then I will go.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
for now,
Then
it's let's enjoy
then it works.
development.
Yes.
I think
Now
after
it's time
40,
to
I
like
will go for this kind of things.
okay, great. So I think people are just completed it, or let me just
Hmm.
check the top 10. Is anyone is left or not? Okay, so some are attending or some have just completed it. Yes, we can stop if need, and we will just choose the top three. So
Okay.
yeah, doesn't mean if I'm showing top five. Yeah. So I think that's all. I'm just stopping the quiz. And, yes. And I think Shubham, Tanuja, and another Ray are there. And so what you guys can do, you can just let me just stop my screen. Okay, so you guys just can quickly connect over me. I'm just sharing a mail over there, and then I will share the further details regarding this, how the specs will be delivered to you. You just connect over the mail. Okay. Yeah, so we are good, Sandeep. Then thanks to you so much for
Awesome.
making time for this and for the
I think
awesome session.
we are talking about this for a very long time, right? 1 year back or something. You told I was
Yeah,
busy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. From even in the past year also, I just contacted with regarding the overstack conf, I remember. But on the
Ah,
time, like your schedule was not so good.
now also not good, but I'm making it.
Yeah, you made it. You made it.
These things that I'm not doing like because of this, all these things going on. So I'm keeping it low profile. That's why I had time.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. It was an awesome session. Beautiful
yeah,
people, lot of good questions, and just we'll maybe in the future also do some sessions. Okay,
yeah, yeah. Sure,
awesome.
sure, sure.
Thank you,
We will
everyone.
be happy to invite you. Yep.
Okay, man.
Thanks a lot, Sandeep.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Yep. Bye, everyone.